Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. I'm so glad you're here. Today is Her Majesty the late Queen's birthday, and I felt so compelled to make something honoring her, celebrating her, and remembering her. I'm the biggest fan, and I miss her so much, and I know all of you guys are feeling it as well. But I did want to put something up to, again, honor her on her birthday. Of course, she was born April 21st, 1926, and was, of course, 96 years old when she passed in September of 2022. But I want to focus on the good stuff. So I put together this video. You'll see it's things I've talked about where I go into some of her funny moments. I loved her sense of humor so much. I truly do. And I love hearing stories about her, so I'll go into some stories and we'll watch a little bit of videos on her. So thank you for being here and help me in honoring Her Majesty, the late Queen Elizabeth II. I just miss her so much, and again, I know all of you are feeling it, and I think maybe looking at this stuff will help. So happy birthday, Your Majesty, and thank you guys for being here, and please let me know your thoughts in the comments and humorous stories, whatever you want to tell, times you got to meet her or that she waved at you or whatever it is, or just memories, things you've heard. Let's share in those together as we honor her today. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. And just a reminder again, in a week, next Saturday, we're doing the fundraiser on behalf of Catherine, Princess of Wales. So join us for that. I'll tell you what time it is. I don't know yet, but I'll get myself together and post what time that is. But thank you guys for everything. Now let's take a look at Her Majesty, the Queen Elizabeth. I want to talk about the Queen. That's right. If you know me at all, you know that I love the Queen. I have always been a fan, and my love for her has continued to grow the more I learn about her. And you know what? I just want to make a video talking about the Queen and remembering her. And I thought you guys could chime in the comments and tell me what you loved about her. And, we'll just honor her together in our own special way. And so I thought I'm just going to put up some fun pictures of her, and in no particular order. It's just photos that I've always enjoyed of her, and her with the family, her with the kids, that sort of thing. So take a look at the pictures and let's talk about why we love the Queen and why we miss her so much. So I'm going to try to hold it together on this one. I tend to get emotional when I talk about Her Majesty. I've just always respected the Queen, and the more I learn about her, the more I appreciate her and just her way of everything, her way of ruling, her way of handling things. I think she's a wonderful woman, and I love learning about her. I find her so interesting, and the world suffered a loss on this day. Again, the 8th of September, 2022, unfortunately, is when she passed. So, of course, she was born Elizabeth Alexandra Mary on the 21st of April, 1926, Queen of the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth realms. And she became queen on February 6th, 1952. She was born in Mayfair, London, and I'm not going to go over her whole history. A lot of you guys are from the UK, and you could explain it way better than I could. I just felt this need to talk about her again today and remember her, and I remember her every day. She just has such an amazing history. She was 10 years old when she became the heir presumptive. That was when her uncle, Edward VIII, had abdicated. And so her father preceded her, and she was 10 years old. She was 25 years old when she actually became queen. That's when her father passed away in February 1952. And then her coronation took place in 1953. And again, I know you know the story, but I find it so interesting to go back and think about it. So it's reported that her birth, it generated public interest, but she wasn't expected to become queen. Her grandfather passed in 1936, and her uncle, Edward VIII, was the next in line. Well, when he abdicated, of course, he proposed marriage to Wallis Simpson. We know about that. Won't go down that road right now because we're remembering Elizabeth. And Anyway, her father, of course, took over, and then, you know how it went from there. And it's only because, it's just interesting history to me, only because Elizabeth didn't have any brothers, she became heir presumptive. So if her parents had had a son, the son would have been heir apparent and above her in the line of succession. And back then it was the male that did that. And of course that comes into play later because she changed it. She made her first radio broadcast at the age of 14 on the BBC's Children's Hour, addressing other children who had been evacuated from the cities. So this all had to do with the Second World War. They wanted to evacuate princesses at the time, Elizabeth and Margaret. They talked about moving them to Canada. The Queen Mother said, no. You're not taking them without me, and I'm not leaving the king. So they all stayed. They moved them to Balmoral for a bit. It sounds like I did a bunch of reading on this, and then they ended up at Sandringham House in Norfolk, but they never ended up leaving, it sounds like. It was on her 21st birthday that she made the now very well-known pledge about, I declare before you that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service and the service of our great imperial family to which we all belong. It's her iconic speech. She trained and worked as a driver and a mechanic and was given the rank of honorary junior commander. So it was the female equivalent of captain at the time, as part of the second subaltern in the Auxiliary Territorial Service. She met Prince Philip of Greece and Denmark. They announced their engagement in July of 1947 and were married on the 20th of November 1947. It's said that they received about 2,500 wedding gifts from around the world. So, of course, they went on to have 4 children, Charles, Anne, Edward, and Andrew. Again, I don't have to go over the whole history with you. You know it. I know. I just love her. She's the longest reigning monarch. She's kept up with the changing times. Think about everything she went through. It's her versatility that it's just so interesting to me. She ended up out-reigning her great-grandmother, Queen Victoria, who had until then been the longest reigning monarch for 63 years. So she reached a milestone of 70 years in 2022. I love her for her love of animals. I totally get that and share a love of animals. She's well known for supporting hundreds, if not thousands, of charities. She took time to support organizations ranging from wildlife conservation to education, arts, you name it, she supported it. It's actually estimated by theguardian.com that she supported about 3,000 charities worldwide. As I alluded to earlier, she helped overturn a 300-year-old rule winning daughters equal right to the throne. I found this really cool quote that said, basically, the Queen has throughout her reign managed to make people feel that she is the spirit and the soul of the country. That was by Clive Irving, author of The Last Queen, How Queen Elizabeth II Saved the Monarchy. She gives over a maternal feeling. She's a safe pair of hands at the top. No one else has ever been able to convey that she did. She had this ability to appear ubiquitous and still remain an enigma. She was able to accomplish this, it's reported, by avoiding expressing her political views or making controversial statements in public. Historians have said that only she could do things the way she did, including the way she traveled, the way she would bring attention to different places, but also how she would bring attention back home and how she was able to open up her home to people to give them a glimpse as to how they lived. So basically, she's credited with having the foresight to bring them down to earth, to make them more real people, right? Not just these. She gave us a glimpse of things and make them more real to people. carried on working until the very end. Literally, we have that photo just days before her passing, and she was still working. She was meeting with foreign dignitaries. She was visiting cities around the UK, supporting charities, promoting her kingdom at home and abroad. And it's been said that she groomed Charles on exactly how to step into the role when she did pass. It was at his 70th birthday that in November 2018, where Elizabeth called him a dedicated, respected heir to the throne to stand comparison with any in history, and a wonderful father. So again, I just wanted to make this video just to show my love and respect for the Queen, for the UK, for England, for the people of the Commonwealth. I love you all so much. I want to talk Her Majesty the Queen, the late Queen, Queen Elizabeth, and her wonderful sense of humor. You know, I'm a huge fan of hers, and I just have been wanting to do another video about her, and I thought, you know what? I don't think I've really talked about how much I love her sense of humor. So I thought this would be a good place to do that. Let's remember some of the funniest moments, some of my favorite moments, and some things I learned while putting together this video. I'm so excited to talk about this one with you. Let's have some fun. In no particular order, let's talk about some of my favorites. We all know about the Paddington moment. As part of her Platinum Jubilee, the Queen was filmed having tea with Paddington, and it opened the BBC's party at the palace, marking her 70 years on the throne. We got a lovely moment like this, and she was putting a marmalade sandwich in her purse. She always kept one for emergencies. Another favorite moment of mine is the opening ceremony of London 2012 Olympic Games. The Queen made a dramatic entrance with the help of James Bond. Hello, Daniel Craig. The skit created had the Queen receive a visit from 007 in Buckingham Palace. Before the pair left together in a helicopter, she then appeared to skydive into the Olympic Stadium with the crowds cheering loudly for her. All right, let's talk about a fun one here. This is when the Queen decided she wanted to use a ceremonial sword at a charity event to cut a cake. She was offered a standard knife, which was available, and the Queen was undeterred. She said, "I know there is," and then grabbed the sword and said, "This is more unusual." So I just love that about her. I love her sense of humor. Okay, and speaking of cakes, I love this photo so much. You have Anne, Princess Royal, to the left. You have Sophie to the right. And this was a 100-year celebration of the Women's Institute. This was in 2015. So Queen Elizabeth cut the ceremonial first slice of cake. Well, she tried to, when all of a sudden the knife got very stuck in the cake. They all burst into laughter, and it was Princess Anne who was able to free the knife from the cake. All right, let's talk about this really fun moment. So in 2014, two Australian hockey players were taking a picture, a selfie, when who photobombed it? The Queen. It was at their Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. Jay shared it on social media. Of course, it went viral. I love this. I love that the Queen stepped into that photo. I like the reaction to the people behind the Queen on the left. Can you imagine if you're looking at your photos and you see this? I would absolutely freak out. How much fun is that? There's a very funny story where Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau toasted Queen Elizabeth's 60-year reign, to which she responded, "Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister of Canada, for making me feel so old." Then, when the Queen went to Ireland, the Deputy First Minister, Martin McGuinness, greeted the Queen by asking, "Hello, are you well?" To which she said, "Thank you very much. Well, I'm still alive anyway." I just love her. Okay, I did not know about this one until researching this video, and it's cracked me up ever since I learned about it. Here we go. So the Queen went to a flower show in Chelsea, and there's this herb gardener, I'll never be able to say her name, I think it was Jekka McVicker, told the Queen the lily-of-the-valley flowers had historically been used as a poison, to which the Queen said, "Oh, I've been given 2 bunches this week. Perhaps they want me dead." Okay, let me tell you about this picture right here. So in 2017, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip visited a UK zoo. Area was in Whipsnade. I hope I said that right. So what's fun about this is they got to meet this elephant named Donna, and Donna took a liking to the Queen, apparently. The Queen fed it a banana, and Donna was looking for more and searching the Queen. The Queen had a really good sense of humor about it. It was said that the zookeepers were freaking out because they were afraid Donna was becoming a little too overzealous looking for another banana, but the Queen kept her cool and just admired the animal. Okay, here's another funny one I did not know until I was putting this video together. Apparently, she called herself Miss Piggy. So when she was watching highlights from the 1981 wedding of Prince Charles and Princess Diana, the Queen told Prince Philip, "Oh, Philip, look, I've got my Miss Piggy face on." And so the self-effacing moniker remained an inside joke among her family and staff ever since. For her 60th birthday in 1986, Buckingham Palace staffers gave her birthday card depicting Miss Piggy as the Queen herself. Upon opening the card, the Queen is said to have burst out into fits of laughter about it. So I know you've heard the story. It remains one of my all-time favorites. The Queen and her bodyguard, whose name was Richard Griffin, he went by Dick, they went for a walk around Balmoral. And they came across two American tourists who started up a conversation. They had no idea who they were speaking with, wanted to know if she ever had the opportunity to meet the Queen. To which she cheekily replied, "I haven't, but Dick here meets her regularly." The hikers then asked him what the Queen was like, to which Dick replied, "Well, she can be cantankerous at times, but she's got a lovely sense of humor." The pair were so excited, they asked the Queen to take their photo with Griffin. So Griffin ended up doing that, but then he took some snaps with them and with the Queen. And they didn't set the Americans straight, but they said, I guess Dick went on record to say, "I'd love to be a fly on the wall when he shows those photographs to friends in America, and hopefully someone reveals that they met the Queen." Okay, so there's another story of her not being recognized. One time she drove up to the Royal Windsor Horse Show, and a guard didn't recognize her and said, "Sorry, love, you can't come in without a sticker." Well, the Queen, unfazed, said, "I think if you'll check, I will be allowed to come in." Okay, here's another really cute, fun story. So she went to visit a bunch of school children in Cumbria, and it was right around the time that Prince George was going to be born. And one of the children asked her, do you want the baby to be a little boy or a little girl?" And she said she's good either way, but she basically said, "I would very much like it to arrive because I'm going on holiday soon." So she's good either way. She just wanted the baby to hurry up. Prince George was born just a few days after this visit. In 1986, the Queen and Prince Philip went to New Zealand. They were visiting New Zealand, and during this, they were pelted with eggs thrown by protesters. Later at a state banquet, she said, "New Zealand has long been renowned for its dairy produce, though I should say I myself prefer my New Zealand eggs for breakfast." Oh, another funny story. Here we go. Okay, so in the 60s, it's said that the Queen attended an annual royal variety performance. There, she saw the Everly Brothers singing Cathy's Clown. It's reported that she was unimpressed and muttered something to her lady-in-waiting that sounded like two cats being strangled. That's what they believe she said the performance sounded like. You guys, this was so much fun and one of my favorites to put together. So now it's your turn. Tell me your favorite funny Queen story. Tell me one that I missed or forgot or don't know about, and I can't wait to read your comments on this one.
I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service and to the service of our great imperial family to which we all belong.
I often draw strength from meeting ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Although we are capable of great acts of kindness, history teaches us that we sometimes need saving from ourselves, from our recklessness or our greed. But even in the unlikeliest of places, hope can still be found.
you.